Okay, that's a great question. That deserves an hour answer. I promise I'm going to do this in 2 or 3 minutes here real quick. So first and foremost is one, listeners, you already know. They've grown up not with a cell phone, but with a smartphone. And it was a game changer. I think every one of us, old and young, got ambushed by what social media would do to us and not for us. But this group of young people have grown up with it, and it's produced an incredible amount of mental health problems. So, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, even anxiety disorders. And that has been normalized now. It's not just that, at-risk kid over there in poverty. It's the privileged kid that grew up in Alpharetta, Georgia, or, Las Cruces, California, or whatever. And we're going, oh my gosh, it's all of us. So the first thing I think an employer ought to know or a manager ought to know is they're probably going to bring a high sense of anxiety, but also, thanks to that smartphone, a high sense of agency, meaning they feel self-sufficient. They feel very empowered. They feel like they can do it. And sometimes they can because they watch 17 YouTube videos on their smartphone. So that would be one big one. I think we need to reckon what the smartphone has done to us, and especially to them as young people. But the other thing is, if I'm a Gen Zer and I was born right at the turn of the century, so I'm 25 years old now, 24, 25. There have been 3 economic downturns during the course of my young life. And even though they weren't aware of the first 2, they were or maybe they were aware of 2 out of 3, but they were young. I don't think we realize how much economics and the economy itself shapes our pessimism, cynicism, or our optimism. So even if they don't remember the dot-com era bubble bursting, they might remember mom and dad when they were 3 or 4 really being very cautious with their dollars. And then we had the 2008, 2009 Great Recession. My daughter was entering her career, and she remembers asking, will I ever be able to afford a home? And I said, I don't know. That's all I can say. And then this, the pandemic, oh my gosh. Gen Z were the first batch of people laid off naturally because they were the latest ones hired. So just step into their shoes a minute when you think they're disloyal and know they might be thinking, well, Bob, you weren't real loyal to me back in 2020. Can you blame me here? So I don't want to just defend them, but I want to help explain them and how they might be feeling right now. One more, that's the loyalty thing. I hear a lot of bosses say they're not loyal, they're not loyal. But again, they're pragmatic, just like we are. And we were pragmatically laying them off, or maybe we still are. And they're going, you know what? I want to take control of my career. I'll be an Uber driver. I'll join the gig economy because I feel like I'm more in control of my money and my time when I do that. So that's just good to know. You got to read them before you lead them. And I think that helps us read them just a little bit there.